Um, I have Sam Ceesay from Indiana. Sam, welcome. And Alass, Germany. Alass, welcome to the show. I am your host, Momodou Sawaneh from New York. Today we're going to be speaking about drugs intercepted at the ports. We're going to look at, this issue, what it entails, the risk of having such a huge, you know, a huge trafficking of drugs in our country. We're gonna also look at the repercussion of it and how to prevent this, and perhaps the people involved. And from there, we're gonna move to the healthcare system, social infrastructure, healthcare, and see what we lack in the Gambia and what need to be done to improve the health of our people. So welcome to our first topic. Yeah, Sam. So I guess you're gonna build the card. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so welcome. Say something.
So on January 7th, a huge amount of drug was intercepted at the ports. They said about 118 bags, costing about $88 million, which is like about $4 billion. So this is the largest drug interception in the history of our country. What is your take on that, Sam? And Alass will follow.
Well, thank you for bringing this up, and thank you both for being here today as well. This is, drug trafficking is a global issue, and it's illegal everywhere, pretty much. It is an embarrassment. It is very catastrophic to our country, if you look at it from different perspectives, and it really damages our reputation in the international community, because the world is now going to look at Gambia as a place where drug traffickers are using as a hub. When I say a hub, they know that Gambia is a very small country. Not all of that not all of that or those containers of drugs will be sold in Gambia necessarily. Maybe they're using Gambia as a hub to be able to transport it from Gambia to in transit to somewhere else. Some could be sold in the Gambia. We don't know what the intention is, what was the motive behind all of this. One thing we know is it is illegal. Drug trafficking is illegal. It shouldn't happen. And I expected the president to come out with something of this magnitude. It would be wise for the president to come out as soon as this comes out, to really address the nation and tell people, even if he doesn't know anything about it, whether he knows anything or not, he needs to be able to come out and address the people and tell people that, yes, his government is aware of these drugs in the Gambia, and here is what we're going to do to address this. And here is what's going to happen. It's going to be investigated, and he needs to come out and strongly condemn it and tell the country what his stand is on this, and what he's going to do, and what he's going to do to prevent this from happening in the future while we investigate this. That's what great leaders will do. This is what people need to do. I mean, a president of a nation, especially our country like that, that's what you should have done first, and really, so the international community can see that, okay, that the president has addressed the nation, the president has addressed the country and the people and his people, and condemn this drug trafficking, and also really share with his people what his plans are in terms of fighting against drugs, but also following these people and hold them accountable and catch the bad people and prosecute them. Follow the lead and follow where this drug comes from, and also it will be at a time to also say that he's going to open his hands to the international community to help him investigate to see the source of this the drugs and where they're coming from, who is behind it, not the person that they're naming in the Gambia. That person may just be an agent that is supposed to clear it. It came from somewhere else. Who is responsible? All of that. They need to follow the lead. It's just like the drug cartel. You need to follow them and catch one person and then find out where the source are, who else is behind it, and try to catch them all and destroy their network. That's what needs to happen, because when drugs like this get into the country, is a criminal activity. It encourages criminals. Now you'll see all these big criminals come into our country if we don't do anything about this. It's going to open that gate for them to use Gambia as a hub, but also use Gambia as a place for like a market, especially if all of those drugs or some of it gets sold in the Gambia. It is going to really cause a lot of problems for us economically, socially, and also it impacts our socioeconomic development, because if you look at even our healthcare system, is going to have a huge, a tremendous and a negative impact on our healthcare. If you think about, if you don't stop drugs now until Gambia becomes a good hub for these drug traffickers, but also Gambia becomes a good place, a good market for drug traffickers, what's going to happen is it's going to slowly kill our youths. They're going to get involved in drugs. People are going to think that drug trafficking is where to go. The people that starts it and we don't stop them, you're going to see them with all kinds of things. They're going to be the richest people in the country, and they're going to encourage people to help them traffic that drug. And those people will also get involved, and they will start to use them. They will use them. It's going to get to a point where even our students will use drugs, which will damage their future for them. And then, it all ends up with our hospitals being overloaded with drug users, drug addicts. Well, currently, we can even take care of our little, we don't even have the equipment to serve certain things in there. We have the most important people are the women are dying in our hospitals. We don't have anything for them to take care of their situation. They're dying in labor. Their children, unborn babies are dying. The babies that they born also die. So we have a lot of people dying that we can't control, let alone you add drug addicts to those people. So it's going to have a tremendous impact on our healthcare system. It's going to have impact on productivity. It's going to have impact on the improvement of our country. And of course, a tremendous impact on an international level, because our world leaders now are going to look at Gambia. Okay, what are you doing with this? Just like terrorists, when any country harbor terrorists, the whole world will look at that country as, okay, people coming from that country and people that went through that country can all be looked at as they may have this. There will be more scrutiny to our own people because they came from Gambia, where drugs are now a big deal in there. Drug traffickers are using as a hub or so. So I'm going to stop here for a little bit, give you guys a chance to elaborate or get on this as well.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for that insight. That thoughts, very helpful. So, Alass, what's your take on this?
Yeah, anyway, it's a very interesting topic. I mean, it's a shock for Gambia with almost how many tons. I mean, it's definite that it's not for Gambia, because what we need is rice instead of cocaine, to be definite. So this thing, as Sam said, I mean, the people they are just small fish, you know. The bosses are sitting somewhere, and I think that's why it's necessary for them to make more investigations to know where are they? Because that's how the cartel always used to work. You know, um, yeah. I mean, when I just hear where it came and to Gambia, it's a very funny thing. From Ecuador to I don't know where, and then to Spain. That means it was even up to Europe and then back to Gambia. So that means from Gambia to somewhere else, but where? Whether it's coming back to Europe or So these are things they have to make their investigations and see who and where and But it's very funny, and that's the way it works. Whether it's about uh, weapons or money laundering or drug trafficking, Gambia should be very careful because Gambia itself is a center. If you see why we have Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and all these things, Gambia is small, but it's a center and a business center too. So it's a target. That means the Gambia government should be well prepared and then build the security more. All these things, I know that they were happening all the way, all the time. You know, it's just now they're trying to see that something is happening. And why? Because even this thing, nobody should have seen it. If the mafia could get their hand at the workers, money, they know our weakness, Africa, money blended us, blends us. They could have also got their way, you know. So I'm very proud of the people who even notice it and then try to do their job for the sake of Gambia and the Gambia security of the Gambians, And I would say good job, and they should continue like that and protect our brothers and sisters because they are living in Gambia. So we should not always look about the money, and that is the danger for Africa. The people know that we are weak for money, and we should change that mentality because if not, they can always use us to do anything. They can use you even to kill your own brother. We're seeing all those things in Africa because they know our weakness is money, which is very bad, you know. If you see a lot of corruption in African countries, it's just that. They come and pay and then go their way. That's why they use a lot of African presidents, especially these lobbyists. They used to go and get a good contact to the African presidents, Some will even come and, present them cars, you know, just to say hello, and they know that they need it, they'll take it. And the thing is, they have a plan behind. There's a hidden agenda, we call it, because they know when they come to do their nonsense, you eat the car already, you eat the money already, so you give them away. That's the way they trick, and that's the way they have hands in Africa to do what they want, because our weakness is money. They know our weakness, and he who knows your weakness can do it whatever he wants. So we have to be very careful about that. But for me, when I just see, I don't think it has anything to do with Gambia. As Sam said, they just wanted to use it as a hub because we Gambians don't need that much. I would have been happy if it was sugar or rice for our people. Then maybe you can say, okay, it's for Gambia, And the danger, what Sam was saying, is also true. But I don't think that it goes to that extent that these people will put that amount for Gambians. Then they want to kill the whole of Gambia. A lot of tons costing about $4.5 billion is, then Gambia should have been even happy to get that money than opening those bags. So it's not a thing which I would say is for Gambia, but Sam is right, I think, to say that because even our health system we cannot afford that. That all people dying or using these things and then the having health complications going to our hospitals where we have no enough doctors, medicament also, because especially about drugs, and so you need a therapy. You know, the West. They have a lot of problems to get their people back to human, and we cannot afford that. We don't have such. We don't even have psychologists in Gambia. Many people are mad. They don't have help. You know, which should have been a therapy with specialists who is going to talk with them and things like that. We don't even have that. So it's with the COVID the same thing. We're playing with it where we know that we have nothing. And nobody is taking it serious, and people are dying. With our statistics, they're showing the people there. I have been saying that all the time. It cannot be correct because of we don't have all information from Gambia. That's the first point. Many people are trying to treat this behind the door. So such people are not in the statistics. So how can you say that it's exact? Those things you can only practice it in the West, where everybody is transparent, open. If something happened, they know have the number. They used to call and say here this and this and this. You know, then you can say okay, this is exact. You know, but the way for Gambia, I think instead of telling the people to take care, you know, they'll try to say that this statistic is nice. You know, trying to cosmetic everything. That is also dangerous because doing that, people will think that there is nothing. But everyone can think and know that something is going wrong. I know. So about these drug things, let's come back to it. I think, as they said, they are going to make more investigations, and they have to. And I know that the Interpol is also doing their job. I read it somewhere. So what I'm just going to say, the how to call it, narcotic system or agent there at the port, good job, and they have to do more job to protect the country, not only themselves but their families too. And let us just wait before we say much about this thing because they are doing their investigations. Maybe we'll. I know that now it's going to be a lot of speculation and so. Some will say, yeah, it's from Mr. Sawaneh. Mr. Sawaneh will say, no, it's from there. Especially this political time, everybody will say, maybe it's this party. The other one will say, no, it's this that. I mean, but things will come out to light after they make their investigations and get all what they need. Then people will know more. So in this topic, I'm not going to say more about it. Till we have the facts. Okay, Mr. Sawaneh, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. That was a good input. So I'm gonna speak in the local languages. Perhaps that will help our viewers a little bit. Those who cannot speak, who cannot understand English. So mbemendiamu kantembadi ngolo wole mu droko men mutano port store. So in droko nying I start at that for drugs keme and internet say back soul yemen intercepts. So ikabota Ecuador, South America. So abetambe kan in Gambia like at Europe. But a droko sifa another man sort of Gambia la history to. Inana man yin sifa muta tulato. So ako nying ay mol sila, ay mol concern. Sarantul Gambia nol menia alon ko Gambia dingol le munti andung na banko la sulo bento pro nying drug sifa ay tambin na country la. Hanatara manta Gambia nol fangol Gambia fang kono. But it just katamba ninjela from wadama dama ay mol sila, ay mol sula. Yo, so kibaro tonga men understand walem ya safi government na to yala. Bari government official rule ila spokesperson ko itol mamfel no nyinto andung ibe investigation o kela kuala. So ye banka keta iko walemu drug lord nyinti ibade fon nyini kane and ala agento nying ikafo wole sirif njai ngamare yew fon mutale currently pour ka ko nying investigate So ako abe all over the news. So laftan na badin lamun lalia understand wanyama ko asembo warata mol fongotile. Andong meatina mol worita la bake wala force droko kamenke hada madingola. Ntol biya lo ntol mu muslima country ladi. Na banko mu muslima banko lati dina banko na dindingol na youth population 60%. Na funding care population o 60% of Gambia la population o. So nin drug tata dung na banko kang abe kela problem balance. Abe crime soul create lale nin drugs unta dawdanding kodole beje mol si nyo fanole mol si kele nyole andung aka culture fanantinyale because nin mol starta kanyim fengol ma ila akila destroy le ila miral nya aka tinyale akila hanamadiya nyanto tinya ini mol buka no fenke killing daji ka buka tarela andung kujama ka wulu kono so wala tena droko nyina ko mol kijo fara andung aka ke business leti me alonko akatinna fa mol akatinna mol ka ibuka doku ko fa mera fo ninke wol sina bula nyin drok wol noma pour nyin kamala isi kodo sort very fast so ala crime sul fanam buka bang droko ka sang down landing ika fenko kidu kuwol ka dunje le fenjama ka dunje so wala na important bake pour kanyum ko nyin kele ka abay banko kan so memem fola mole wala bari government officers so ko ba ko investigate kan pour modbe si hakilto nyin sifal nga try ka bay na banko kan manyan na sonna drug sol ka dunna banko kan na government inanta katala bakele yenyum mul samanan to justice because drugs deal no siata hanatra Gambia phone is a transit point among good scientific because abe more leader to so many things so dola funding ke population o siata bakele so nanta hakilo tula le bake nga kada drugs ko wakana fenke so government la involvement moto fono la science bari itul ko bele investigation o yemo so the agent ning arrest bari Gambia nima tight ke na security la nga tight ke na fanko la fenjamal sila no na banko ka me alon ko multalo na because monam koditi ole ika mol sanne nyum agent sol min katra port or the airport ike sanne and the nisang is a fence nyama sama na banko ka me manyana na banko ka as a keno from a bank hani droko for the kilo or any other thing so walat na bring any news ni lamay ajeko definitely it's a very unfortunate situation because adroko nying ngamoy iko $88 million Mialonko is $4 billion plus or as akodo sembo wara battle so nam agency many amuda on the ports iko ya information on yin sotole then akabo akafuda Gambia ports so they put an eye on it namere e alata lale so the fanambe fan container sol jibe kan kaje ko nyimu fennete mialonko ananta futala janne and thanks to them tolio intercepted so this is a good job on their side. So let's follow up with the investigation, but don't as a responsible citizen, in Kana Ninga Momon Dinje, Intela Miroto, Mealonko is involved in this Nanta report lale. Hani badi walem, because Ngama Yoko Nimboda, Nimano Ning, Banka Kante, Yaketa, sorry. Ngamarabe, Abe kind of thing or somewhere. That's where, he came from. So he's a Gambian like all of us. Yeah. So Nabanko can nibela drug cool killer. Maybe you can do it somewhere. But kana o system sifa sam nantola banko kan. Ni laftela kodo make la do it in Europe. Ni mutaje ibe menkelele ya kela. But until leave our country alone, because we have a youthful population, man la fira life in kasara. So mbadi ngol lafta nyina translator just in Madinka. Alas, if you want to say it in Wolof, is also welcome. But I cannot speak Wolof.
Yeah, I'll try. So, Smamboke Gambia, ni setan sobi. li ñoo wax mooy li ñoo wax ci angale ak li Mr Sawaneh tam wax ci soose mandinka just now ma try pour summarize leen ko li ñoo wax mooy affaire yi drogue bi ñëw Gambia loo xam ne lu bari la xaalis bi ci nekk moom foog na ñu ne 4.5 billion dalasi la waaw loolu nag bari na trop ba pare liñ jàppa moom ay saaku ci airport xawma ci port bi loo xam ne ñu ne mu ngi jógee Ecuador jaar ñëw na bés Panien jógee fi dem ba Gambia so loolu mu ngi wone ne rek loolu du pour Gambia sax saaku yooyu loolu dañ doon jël Gambia rek as transit daal yoo xam ne dafaa jógee Gambia dem feneen mun naa jógee Gambia ñëwaat fii mbaa mu dem India o China o kenn xamul daal waaye ci man suma foog daal loolu du pour Gambia because ñun Gambia ñu ngi soxla yeneen saaku dan saaku nonsense yooyu ñun saaku yiñ soxla mooy saaku maalo ak saaku sukur ndax nit ñi dunda te drogue moom baaxul te ku nekk xam na ko dafa yaaxa ba pare li ñoo advice nit ñi yëpp drogue moom ñun moom feebar yi moo joxe ñun amuñ lopitaan yooyu amuñ garab yooyu Gambie moo tax ku nekk dafa war a moytu nag pour di ko use anyway gaa yaa ngi def seen kis ak seen naka lañ ko wooyee investigations moo tax nag ñun mënuñ cee wax lu bari fi mu nekk dañoo xaar gaa yi def seen liggéey ñu am more facts then we can den dinañ leen mën a yëgal ci loolu o di ngeen ko déggal seen bopp ci news yi yooyu anyway loolu lañ doon wax so léegi nag man moom dama li ma wax rek mooy ñi faa liggéey ci port bi ñi ko gis loolu jërë ngeen jëf ñu thank leen support leen for doing a good job seen liggéey bi ñu def rafet na su fekkee ne ñu ngi aar suñ mbokk yi ak suñ friends yi Gambia noonu la gaa yi war a liggéeyee te ñoom ñoo taxaw foofu pour suñ sécurité pour aar Gambians te port bi dafa important ñun ku jaar ci port bi rek dugal so buñ ko yombal kenn nag ba pare government bi tam buñ ko yombal kenn te daf dee nekk ñaareel ñoo xam ne group of people la ñoo xam ne ni ñu ngi am seen network sa yëpp soo ñiñ jàppa Gambia foofu sax ñu ndaw lañ ndigte lii dafa rëy trop lii du pour kenn nit am na ñeneen ñoo xam ne daal ci li ma foog boss baa nga toog fee na waaye nag gars yi yëpp a ngi ci kawam nag ñu ngi investigate Gambia tam nga investigate Interpol bi tam Gambia government bi jox nañ leen di green light to do their job Interpol bi mooy ñi nga xam ne ñoo dee liggéey ak aduna bi yëpp ci mbiri sécurité moo tax nag fi mu nekk nag dafa naari pour ñu def dara nag ne xarama daw fooy daw because yow dëkk bi nga daw ñooñu tam bokk nañ ci Interpol bi so dafa mel nii rek nga toog Gambia nga daw génn yëpp benn so moo tax fi mu nekk nag aduna bi ñu nekk moom nit dafa moytu nekkul ne da ngaa def Europe dara def fi dara nga ne da ngaa daw nugu Gambia benn tey nugu wuloo te Gambia tam a ngi bokk ci Interpol so ñu buñ ci sori daal buñ ci wax lu bari li te yu bari feeñagut moo tax man soo booba mënu ma ci wax lu bari waaye anyway ñu bàyyi ci xel daal su fekkoon ne bu Gambia la it dañ doon war a moytu man li ma foog mooy lii nekkoon ne mu ngi soog a am yàgg naa am te ñaareel groupe yooyu dañ lay def nii ñoon ñëw sax seet si président ñoom xam nañ ne loolu rek la Afrique soxla ñun xaalis daf ñu dee nax dafa mel ni nga taal toj laaj suñ bëti duñ gisati dara xaalis bi rek so loolu nag xam nañ ko nag ci ñun suñ jiite yooyu so ñaareel li ñoo def mooy luñ bëgg dafa am dañoo ñëw jege président bi nekk lu jeex waaw kooku nag su ko jëlee ñoom suñ ñëwee ëllëg liñ bëgg xam nga ne président bi du mun a arrêté so noonu lañ day use Africa waaye this time nag xam naa ne Barrow government have nothing to do with it because if not ñoom duñ doon stress sax pour ñu def investigation so loolu moom is clear. So su fekkee dañ ci binda sax ne it's for Gambia government loolu ku nekk mën na ko pour am open doors, but doesn't necessarily mean it's from Barrow government, because Gambia has nothing to do with it. Because su fekkoon government bi la ñun duñ toog sax di wax affaire loolu di te loolu dafa doon duga dañ te kenn du ko xam. So Lee is showing you that, and when people are thanking the security from the government side, I don't think. So Lee la laat fi mu nekk nag ñu ci time politique nag moom ku nekk ay joxoñ moromam ak lu waay def ak defut ak loo xam ne nii sax loolu mooy li ma dee wax every time loolu has nothing to do with politics. Ñun suñ politique dafa des benn tey nit ñun liñ bëgga ak Gambien fiñ toll ak politique modern politique mooy nga génn nga ñëw nga wax nit ñi yow looy def better than Barrow fi mu nekk yow naka nga defee yow soo toogee loolu mooy politique fi mu nekk waaye politique yi kii mbuba bi mu sol dafa tilim kii mbaxana bi mu sol dafa tilim. Gambians are no more stupid, so politicians should also try to be modern. nañ wax nit ñi the problems they are going to solve suñ toogee looloy politique te loolu nga mën a amee ku la vote waaye di use the politique naan soose bi baaxut olof bi dafa dof loolu politique yi suñ maamati maami la. It's no modern politique. Politique mooy Gambians are tired. ñu ngi xaar fi mu nekk pour koy ñëw dik leen dara ba pare def ko su ko defee nit ñi votal la so xam naa ne fi mu nekk na is politique time nag lu nekk Europe rek ku nekk def ci lu rëy nag waaye jaru ko. This thing man li ma foog mooy have nothing to do with the politics, has nothing to do with Gambia. So we just have to be careful and wait for the end results from the investigations. Let them tell us nañ ñu wax the facts ko digga bi ñu mën a xam li ñoo wax. So Mr. Sawaneh, I hope that's enough pour wol olof.
jërëjëf Alass. Yes, maa ngi jàng man tamit, I'm trying to learn a little bit about all of
yeah. Before I was very good in Mandinka. You will never believe it. But
it's good sometimes to to really bring the local languages so that other people can also benefit. I mean, I know most people can speak English, but you have to diversify the information, because sometimes people do complain that we say so many things that are very important, but they cannot digest it because they are not well versed in English. So we can always summarize it in local languages.
Right? Possible,
I think that will make sense. Yeah.
But we have a lot of local languages, and we don't have the people who can speak that.
Well, I mean, we only can offer what we have, right?
Yeah.
Unless some can speak Wolof. I mean, sorry, if some can speak Fula, that would be great.
Nope. Yeah, I think some can speak Fula.
Oh, no, I can't. Balde is the one that needs to be here to speak Fula.
Oh, okay, Balde, yeah.
Balde is the one that I think can speak Fula.
Yeah, but I think when we have English and two local languages, I think it's okay, because it's Gambia. Many people can speak 5 languages, so I think Gambians are flexible.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to this is, it is high time now. Gambian people are awakened. They're not sleeping anymore, and they're not stupid, just like Alice said. We know that. It's also important that when we put people in position, that we hold them accountable. We put our National Assembly members in position to represent the people of Gambia. They knew to do their job to hold the executive accountable. If not, the only thing I can tell the Gambian people is, if you put people in position and they can't fulfill their obligations, then don't vote for them again. Don't put them back in there. Get them out and get somebody else in there that's going to represent you. and tell you the truth. So with that said, I know certain things happened in the Gambia before. We've seen incidences. There has been drug bust in Gambia before this one. There has been a container with guns in the Gambia before this one. There has been other things in the Gambia. And the executive team is the one in administration. They tell people, they will always tell people, and well, this case, they didn't tell people anything yet, not that I know of, but they've told people that they were going to investigate those. And up to now, I haven't heard anything. We've passed that part. You know, when you say you're going to investigate something, you need to investigate it thoroughly and come back to people and tell people what you found. And what are you going to do? What actions are you going to take? Those are very important for any administration, any government. So we've seen that in the past. And I hope, even though I have not heard anything from the government that they're going to investigate this or do anything with this, but I hope if they come out to say this is going to be investigated, I know it's already being investigated from what we're hearing, since Interpol is there. The international community is getting involved because this is a big deal and really need to be investigated, and they need to hold people accountable. And those who are part of this really need to face the consequences. So my take here and my advice here is for our National Assembly members to get up and stand on their feet and demand answers from the executive team to make sure that this really is not going to be one of those that they said they're going to investigate and we never heard anything again. This is something of a very serious magnitude, and the National Assembly need to step up and say to the executive that we need answers. We need answers, and we need answers to this really quickly. If they can come out and say something without really jeopardizing any information or any security information in this, all it takes is come out and say something about what you say, make sure you do it. Okay, so we need to make sure that our National Assembly members hold our executive accountable. If they don't hold them accountable, we need to make sure that we don't put them back in that office. And if they can hold them accountable by demanding correct answers and answers to this, they need to see who is involved in this. Whoever in the government has any hands in this really need to face consequences, up to and including jail time. They need to make sure that that is done. We need to set an example in the Gambia. Even if the president himself is part of it, for example, I'm not saying he's part of it. Even if the president is part of it, the National Assembly represents people. Gambian people voted for them. They need to do the right thing by impeaching that president and get him out of there too. That's what they're there for. Their job is to really hold part of their job, not only they're lawmakers, but they also hold accountable, the executive team accountable. They need to make sure that the Gambian people get the truth and nothing but the truth. Even if it's the hard fact, even if it's a very hard fact, that's the truth. That's what Gambia deserves. So they need to make sure that they do their job. And my advice to them is really step up and do your job. Demand answers, get the answers that we need, and tell the Gambian people the truth. If there is anyone in the government that has any hands in this, or that plays any role in this, that person need to be out. Number one, they need to demand that person be fired and prosecuted so that they can set an example. And like I said, even if it's the president, then the president need to be impeached and get him out of office, because that would be an abuse of power. And of course, obstruction of our Constitution. So that's what I wanted to say for people to hear, and for anybody that's a National Assembly member to really do your job. If not, we're going to discourage people to vote for you again, and you're not going back into that office. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I just want to ice up, on that note. Even though we believe that this might be drug trafficking, but I have a feeling that this might even be beyond that, because in order for somebody to have confidence to do this kind of thing, they must have seen a loophole. Maybe they are dealing with some people who have power in the country. So to have this kind of an amount of drug in the country, you must have a guarantee that perhaps it will make true. And the only people who can guarantee you that are the people at the top. So again, in as much as we can sensitize our citizens, our people of taking part to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't get encouraged or they can report it, we have to also factor that our elected folks, our government leaders, also need to be monitored closely to make sure that they don't have any hands in this, like Sam said, because I would not have confidence to send such a thing without somebody guaranteeing me that it will be cleared. Otherwise, they're losing money. That 88 million. I mean, that's not small money. So this is beyond just government officials coming out and speaking against it. It's beyond that. This is something that everybody should be impartial about, and we investigate and get the facts. Yeah, but you're very right. I mean, we shouldn't leave any stone unturned.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's why I said that, because there's already a rumor that government. I don't go by rumor. I want to see evidence. I want to see facts. I don't want to accuse anybody, and I never accuse anybody of anything that I don't know. So I'm not going to accuse. But one thing that I know is where there is smoke, there is fire. Okay. I believe in that. Where there is smoke, there is fire. So find out where that fire is and who is that fire and handle that fire. That's what I believe
Yeah,
in.
let me translate that. Ikonie sisio dauda dimbale bije. Sisio buka kensenke. So nin dimba bije inanta dimbani inanta je koto jibe nale. Nin dimba bije afa. All right, thank you guys. We can just jump. We can jump into our next topic, which is the social infrastructure, aka healthcare and education. So we have seen social infrastructure being deteriorated in the Gambia. We last few weeks we talked about women dying on hospital beds because of lack of proper care. We're losing a lot of our pregnant women and then kids because of that. And then people also have been caught up, with this COVID. Our hospitals and stuff are not really functioning the way they needed to. Is a lot of things happening, and we know definitely there were funds available, especially for COVID. That could, even if those funds are not used directly to fight against COVID, but I'm assuming the health minister and other agencies could use that fund to rehabilitate other places in the healthcare sector. But our hospital is deteriorating every day. The medicines are not there. They are, people rather stay home than to go to the hospital. We've been having reported that people are dying from homes most of the time or elsewhere rather than going to the hospital, because when they go to the hospital they think the situation will be worse. And if you look at other areas like education sector, we haven't seen any improvement there. I mean, nothing is going well, in that sector as well. And educated populace is a prosperous populace. So these are areas that I think, our new Gambia should be really pushing by now. We are 4 years, going to 5 years in the change of administration for a better Gambia, but still no headways. So, gentlemen, I want you to weigh on this and see what you think.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, I can help in health a little. I mean, the healthcare system was always a problem in the Gambia, we all know. And but when I hear Barrow and others, they used to say they did a lot in healthcare and they built a lot of hospitals, and so sometimes I ask, only where then? Because maybe in upriver and not in the urban area, which is the most densely populated. So if that is the case, that means that's a failed plan. You understand? Because I think, I mean, we should not forget the areas, the upper region also. But if I should build a Royal Victoria hospital for a village of two people, that means I made a field planning somewhere. You understand? So where the population is more dense, and in the Gambia is about Congo area, Banjul, Birkama, that area. I think after all, you just have some villages. Then the next is Basse, what is very big, and then that's it. Then you have Koina, that's Gambia. So if I should concentrate on the mostly densely populated places, then I would take Basse and build a very big one instead of counting 5 of them, some in villages with 2 people, so that they can go also to Basse somehow, you know. And when they are making these many roads, as they used to say, then to make sure that the small villages have also this connection to Basse, and make sure that I build and bring professionals and very modern hospital there, then you save money. And you make roads from these small villages combined and make a very big road to Basse. You save money. And then try and concentrate on the biggest hospital on the densely populated areas, that is Combo area, and make sure that people are no more dying by the maternity as we are having. People are complaining, and people get medication in the hospitals there, and make sure that you have professionals in the hospitals also. That's it's an easy way of clearing this problem. But I'm always hearing them saying they build how many hundreds of hospitals. Likewise, schools, they'll say they build how many schools. But the people in the urban area, for example, they cannot imagine that because they are not seeing anything. I myself, I'm not seeing it because I see only pictures from the urban area. Hmm? So it's somehow confusing. I mean, they are doing something, but maybe there is no, not that planning, as I used to say, ABC analysis. You know, you do something, but do it with priority. For example, where should I concentrate more, and where is more important at this moment, and what is more important at this moment, and start with that. You know, it's the same thing like the ambassadors. We have a lot of ambassadors. They are saying it's costing Gambia government a lot. But are these ambassadors in the countries, the mostly densely populated Gambian population? No. So that means there is another failed planning. You understand? You get an ambassador for a country with 5 Gambians, and Germany with how many million Gambians? You don't even have one. So likewise in Sweden, you know, there's not only Germany. I know only about Germany, but Sweden, they are also complaining. There is a Swedish as an ambassador there. And Sweden is a big populated place, you know. But then you take one small island in Asia and throw them ambassadors there with maybe not even Gambian there. So when they are talking about here also about the hospitals, maybe they build it somewhere in the rural areas, which we don't know. If that is the case, I would say they try. But in the urban area, people don't say anything. I myself, I can only say what I know. People are complaining like Royal Victoria Hospital, people are dying. We don't have this medication there, medicines there, no doctors, professionals. Even blood, we don't have it there. So then that means there's a failed planning somehow. What some used to say, if you fail to plan, you know.
If you plan to fail.
If you plan to fail, yeah, you plan.
If you fail to plan,
Yeah,
plan to fail.
you plan to fail. That's it. You understand?
Okay.
So I think that's the thing here. I would not say that they are not doing anything, but it's hard for me to believe, or you and me, because we are from the urban area and we don't see it. So maybe they have to show us pictures where we can say, okay, these are the 200 schools they built or 500 hospitals they built, then we can believe it, because seeing is believing. And again, what I just wanted to say, I used to talk about it with the statistics. They used to show the whole world for the number of COVID we have in the Gambia, which I say we have to be careful. These are not the real data we having from Gambia. You understand? So we should not show that even to the world, because it's not exact. You know, people who are doing it like the West, you can say 99% is correct. But the way we live in the Gambia and our system and our way of information, we have to be very careful with these numbers, because everybody knows what COVID is doing in the Gambia, not only in the Gambia, in the whole world, and Gambia cannot be an exception. Just that we close our eyes and go through the darkness and following this data, which is misleading, is not correct. Many people in the rural areas, they are not coming to MRC to give the information. Many Gambians are trying to treat their people at home. They don't come out either to give this information. So many are dying. They don't come out. The relatives don't come out to say he died or she died because of COVID. So they are not going to get this information. So we have to be very careful with this data. Instead of following this information, say, oh, there is nothing in Gambia and doing what we want. But I know, other people know that this thing is doing its job in the Gambia. When people don't take care, because they are not informed from the government side to sensitize them, or from the Minister of Health to sensitize them, I don't know. We've been talking about it all the time, warning people, because we don't have the right things in our hospitals, the right medication. You know? Even blood, you don't have it. So with COVID, we don't have respiratory instruments and all these things. You know, if we even have problem of masks, you know, which have been delivered freely from the government. That is even a problem. You know, as Mr. Sawaneh said, we have a lot of funds for the COVID, but are we prepared? Is this fund still there? Because I think we have to do. I'm very sorry to say, but the COVID is still there, and it will take time till the vaccines reach to Africa. So, especially the poor countries, we should take more care than even the Europeans, because these people are having everything. They have good hospitals, they have respiratory, but still they take care because they know that it's a problem. We don't have anything, and we don't mind. So I know that it's not easy and not good for any country and in their economy. You know, the economy, especially Gambia, we lose a lot of money through this tourism. I mean, the tourism because of this COVID, you know, because it disturbs countries, not economically, but health-wise. You know, everybody understands that. But still, we should not let our people think that this thing is not there and doing what they are doing. You know, they should still take the COVID as the first phase. This thing is serious and is there. You know, so I mean, in a hospital where we don't have medicine, we have to be careful to save our lives, because everybody knows you go to hospital thinking of death, then that is no hospital for me. We have to change it. If they should invest somewhere money, let them do it in the health sector. Then people can say now that is good, you know, and they'll not be afraid to go to hospital. So thank you, Mr. Sawaneh.
Thank you, Alass, on that very deep insight. So Sam, what is your take?
Yes. You know, thanks, Alice, as well. Definitely. Very good talking points there. You know, and like I always say, like Alice was saying, I always start with that first. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So there was really not a good planning for our country, and with the current administration as well. You know, if you think about economically, if you think about what really impacts the economy of our country, uh, you know, there are certain factors that I can mention four things that really impacts an economy, and I'll get into where we are now. One of those four things, I'm not saying these are the only things that impacts economy, but these are some of the things. And four areas that I would say is, of course, corruption in the institutions is one. Um, Educated labor force is very important in any economy. Um, uh, High grade infrastructure or infrastructure in general is another one. Then the fourth one I would say is security and law and order. Okay, security, justice, law and order, basically all of that security. So I will then go into infrastructure. When you look at the infrastructure of the Gambia, now specifically to our topic today is the healthcare, and I'm going to specifically talk about the hospitals. Hospitals are part of infrastructure, good hospitals in a country. When RVH was built, Gambia was probably, I don't know, maybe less than 1 million people. I don't know. But today, over 2 million people, or at least 2 million people in the Gambia, that RVH is just like a clinic. It's a clinic. And the condition it is in, I can tell you this, even animal hospitals in America are better than the RVH, are in much better shape than the RVH. I'm talking animal hospitals where you take your sick dog when your dog or your cat gets sick. Where you take them
Hey,
to
don't say
animal
anything about animal hospital, man. I work there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you work
So
there because it's better, huh?
yeah, so animal hospitals are in much better shape. You know, the animal hospitals in America are in a lot much better shape than the people's human hospital in Gambia. So we have wrong priorities, and I said this some time ago. When this government started, they should have really prioritized the healthcare by really looking at our hospitals and the supplies that they need, plus the doctors that really need to be there. Okay, and I'll go back up to 2016 when President Jammeh was there. When President Jammeh was there, during the campaign, during the when there was real politics about 2016 elections, um, there were more revelations coming out, and that's when I heard that, and that's when I knew that President Jammeh bought that big mansion in Potomac, Maryland, which is outside of Washington D.C. When I heard that, and they were saying it's like 3 million US dollars or something, or 3.5 million, and some were saying, and the first thing that came out of my mouth, and I said that because I knew at that time how critical our hospitals were suffering. That time, I said, this was in 2016. I said, if Jammeh was using our money wisely, he should have that $3 million house or $3.5 million house that he bought in Potomac, Maryland, that can actually buy 2 medical helicopters for Gambia. And he could have put one in Banjul area, one in the Basse and Batsang area. Helicopters helicopter don't need a runway to fly. They don't need to run. They can just take off and land. And all they have to do is accommodate a place for a hospital, for a helicopter to land, because those times I was hearing a lot of pregnant women were also losing their lives, and they were going through on donkey carts to transport them to hospitals to go deliver babies. And that was very sad for me. That really was really very, very sad for me. And I could not stand it. And that's when I said that. I said, Jamie should have done that. Jamie, you wasted our money. I said that to Jamie in 2016. Because a helicopter, all it takes is really when somebody is in critical condition, and also bad accidents, really deadly accidents and serious accidents that happen, they could have really taken a helicopter to fly to that location, pick up people in critical conditions and women that are in critical labor conditions and fly them straight to the hospital without having to fight with the Gambian traffic. And you would not have to worry about the ambulance trying to fight the traffic to go there, to get to the hospital. So this is how important it is. And this is how our government need to think about, think about all the money that was given to Gambia, millions and millions of US dollars equivalent, that was given to Gambia government. We actually have an opportunity to, and I said this back in 2018 also, that the way RVH is, at the hospital in Banjul, they call it Edward Francis small teaching hospital now. The way that is, I suggested back in 2018 that Gambia actually need to find a place to build a hospital in the Combo area, not in Banjul yet. That they need to find a place before they sell all these lands and before they give away all of our lands. Serakunda and the Combo area is getting densely populated. RVH is too small. So what they needed to do, and I'll come to the RVH part. I said what they needed to do is find a big land, an area where they can build a fresh, brand new hospital, get all the equipment, great doctors, proper training, have all technology, have everything that we go to Dakar for, and bring them in there, then knock down RVH, build it again to a newer and a more modern hospital. Because we need hospitals. The Gambia is growing, is overpopulating now in the Combo areas, is densely populated. So they could, once they build a brand new hospital in Combo area, people can utilize that. That will have everything we need. And they can slowly take the time, as time permits, and really knock down RVH, build it. There's not a whole lot of room there, but the sky is the limit to go up. The sky is the limit. They can go up 3 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors, 6 floors, 7-story building, whatever it is. I'm not saying to do that now. It doesn't make sense to do all that. But I'm just saying they still have the room to build that there for the future. While we have a main hospital in Gambia, in the Kumba area, where they can use that as an example and a training hospital. Bring people from Basse, Bansan, Kawur, Farfeni, Badibu, the Combos, anywhere, bring them, Brikama, bring them to learn how to take care of people, including customer service. Because Gambians really don't know customer service. You walk into the hospital, somebody is in critical condition, will walk into the hospital and find somebody working in the hospital sitting down and playing with their cell phone. That's how ignorant that is. And that's why things like that really make me mad. And I feel like if I were in the hospital at that time and I see a person coming in critical conditions and someone sitting there at a desk playing with a cell phone or drinking a tire outside or on Facebook, I will fire them. I'm going to set an example. Get them out of there. These are not customer service people. We need customer service people that are going to take care of our sick people, that are going to talk to them, respect them, treat them as their mothers and fathers. That's what our people deserve. When pregnant women come in, rush there, drop everything. Even if your boss wants to talk to you, tell them, I don't have your time. I have this patient's time. Go to the patient, take care, get them in, register them, get them to see a doctor ASAP. Take care of people. Don't delay anything. And of course, all the things that comes out of these nurses' mouth are not all of them, some of them, okay, are not always pleasant.
Yes.
And that needs to stop. You have a pregnant person, that is in critical condition between life and death, and you're telling them all kinds of things. I heard all kinds of things that I cannot even repeat here. That, as a supervisor on duty, that should be that person's last day. They should never work in that hospital again. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. And of course, when it comes to healthcare, it starts with our infrastructure. Get a good, decent hospital with proper doctors, not an eye doctor operating on a heart patient, or not a foot doctor trying to look at somebody's eyes. We don't want that. We want specialized doctors in all the areas of their expertise, with proper and well-trained nurses and hospital workers with the equipment and technology they need to take care of people, so we don't have to send our people to Senegal and they charge us arm and leg. That should not be happening. So healthcare is very important. Women's life really matter, big time, because they are our mothers, and we need to make sure that our healthcare, this government need to make sure that the healthcare given priority rather than anything else that they're doing right now. Anything else that they're doing, healthcare is important. That needs to have a focal point. It needs to be given priority, and they need to take off with that. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sam. Thank you. This is
there.
yeah. So mbadingolo come mba summarize lale in Mandinka, and Alass can also come in Wolof. Mbe healthcare la ko foka memu jati kende ati. Ali alon na nin jati kende amansuto banko te yirwa nola. Andu nim banko ma yirwa ntitala nyato. So saying come na discussion moment wolem na hospital thing among hospital, among medicine soul soto, among good hospital fanan soto. Hospital member ko Edward Francis, a hospital do atale, be pare, je fanan mang lad soto bake. Modul fa ni nata je, yakatra je fata, waran dulke la bankoto. Nte fa watada nun je 2019, berin dunta hospital kono murtale. Ni wuro ngambulo lam kunto personal la bulo animbanda so niaje. Yeah, oh my goodness, if I can understand, I feel it. Nkombe murla kodake kadiamu doctor mano, left a kumbola because mulbe in pain, mul bulo fon yellow be je banda soto. Ayin kijo fara siul be fly la dlalto. Jati kende ala karola man hygiene soto je mul batata. Nyin saya men beka ketanga manke ko ate prevent nola de ase stop nole. Ninga tala nga jaral kendol soto because na weather bete atele. Na weather bete ata na air bete ata man pollution jama soto mul manyan na sasala nata no nga dula nyin senyandi nka good medical fankol soto nka check up ke bari signing kodo be kada dula dolto mul babule jifol kono ibe hospital borol sunyala if damal koto iba assemble la pharmacy wolto many pharmacy wol soto no proper supervision leadership tije me alon ko katandi mol la ko fofani nata anata molle amanna for individual pharmacies ofenko bari mobe men be ndokudla mobe ba a fight kan ikunwe nte buka banko nyin jibe. So nyina munto la biggest problem moti Gambia to walatina lack of leadership in every stage of our civil service. Abijele lack of leadership nime ya komura mamoje abula la jifo kono public health suffer ni dana hospital do medicine tije doctoro ni appointment okay doctorol mansia be pare ni appointment okay janin dul fonkana o kata nyindo menanta kelala ketala So na hospital nanta nyatili na jela na jaral bunda. Ni moke. Mantara fiala modul mo jamal kabang. Mafo ila watu mansi bari manya na bana. Ila watu si extend nole ning atara proper medical fankosudo. Mako rosudo. So Edward Francis as a bill no lado to the hospital bill no lado memang ke Banjul Founty. Banjul is overcrowded. Space Founty J. Namol be wala fokang. Isa bill no phone ya bill, baribu ya bill jara. Your hospital can do bill, medicine can do provide. Mandara fi ala kuro men kana banko kang. Naka dunga nyama. Corruption o tj. Na hospital nanta sufficient medical supplies sot la jele. Na hospital can do bill. Nga namol jara bang. Because Gambia, mantara fi ala, ye advantage bale soro domorol ninga nka fangola domorol nka seno ninga senol ke waranga garden ke. Those are healthy food. Ninko wol domo whether betiata there is no pollution. Mol be jadi ken da sotla no dal clinta ngol damale need. Ningo soro trust me mol kata la check up wala. Bari nobody care about healthcare. Information obuka share. Ni afo moye akoy go ha ante manta clinic order because ndem kasasa. Okay, ibu kasasa bar sasa dol katarela. Wol ni ma wado wad pukulam puk ngale moy pukulon. You kick the bucket because guess what? Wol buke tuje bari ite symptom mo sodonola. Blood pressure no blood pressure as tarela. Ni mang ta check up la. Italon na fang ite ba mera la kundi mole ke muta whatever. Diabetes ti tarela. Italon na. Isi cholesterol. Isi tara mesiari yer cholesterol tarela. Italon. So nintol mon facilities no soro anim be pare mbukanda mul educate about these things ni sensitize ko ni na mujati kendare for it 1 year every year kal take for a check. Isa sa te man sasa pour nyin kambala ni sasa be na kan nsa nyato kuntu no nyami. But into leader soul man care. Itol ika best treatment na soro ngwajele ika travel kata abroad. Ikada medical checkup. How many of our government officials many are going to check up in abroad? Don't fongo ya jamme be banko abe leadership la waro men. Akana dentist cleaning na jane in the US. In fact, one time I bray ala nga moy nyame bray ala fonko ke. I ala teeth clean nga mara I fonko tip mena for $10,000 lemba whatever. They don't care. They will come here and in a medical checkup okay. Ite be Gambia. Ite na medical checkup okay. And moy ka keba ya nyame, moy la sal ki kutila wala nyam. So it become al sensitized from. There's no sensitization. Another flyer je me alon kakafugo yearly checkup. Free yearly checkup. No. Nobody even talk about health. The only time it can help the. So that's not a preventive health. Ndole nyine la Gambia. Man committed people also do. And come Sam come for. Ni more for enter the hospital, more be telephone or be Facebook. Ni Facebook ye multinyale. If you use it in a good way, in social media, I bet you comment to many men at sensitization. But near use just to be posting and looking at fancy things or more new funko thing. I mean, either you are addicted to that, so you waste your time. It even focus the way more in a asasa the muskonoma. You are neglect. You be like Facebook, you be like social media. You don't care. But what is a lack of leadership. Whoever is the supervisor there, supervisor min PJ, wole nanta trial or musi fire. Come sami afunyami. Leadership has to start from the president coming down. More being tough lale on where you control. You make everybody accountable. No keta. Mul bila doko kelal. But ni mo be is relaxed. Mul bukana doko on time. Medicine personally na be laring ibe muntan ibe fenkela. Man care. Afo ke maita boro sang. This is it. Nyene be caring. And men be doko la hospital load will basu nyala. Iba assembly la clinic if pharmacy to they trying to make money out of the public. Momansila alanya, momantala doko. This is why our hospital aka fail. And what had happened? Karel abeja na nabe kuno nabe nyola banta. Mobuka bango nyama. There must be symptoms. Even fungo things like heart attack and so all those things near EKGK you can tell you are a potential victim. You could be. So doctor will be advised to take medicine. Niafu Gambian ole alanga medicine ta. Ita da pharmacy moto. Iko blood pressure medicine din ebita kundi mboro dila. They are not giving you the right medication. It become medication correctly mudila. It kata menna anika mendila is different because what? Il after kodole make la. O medicine fon ka boda amendo for China le mbam fo mintole mom halong. So you need to more disturb kan. There is no focus on us. Until African will believe that I'm an African, I'm strong. Moving borol bidele, I'm strong. Yes, moving borol bidele. As your immune system strong to know. But there are certain medical conditions will you proper care in the for you tembulem. Yolung. Yalong ko ino nanta nyina domala nanta nyina kala nanta nyina domala nanta nyina kala. Don't make medical expert. But common sense nka wole fale. Putting kamala mulsi start they care about themselves. They care about their family. Because Gambia ninga healthcare soto anyama more care about themselves. Gambia jibemba you walk average how many miles? Odamma mu jata kendal. Jamol bela moto kono. Ibuka mamman back. Ni left mamman na jam for ita jimoto. Gambia you have more health, more opportunity to be healthy. But mamuna sodo man medical sodo mbuka check up ke man facility sodo namul be atarala nyotema mul man care mfanku. So mun the biggest problem with it. Unless and until we have a system in place. Namul sodo in the right place. Purka make sure na healthcare na focus akan yemul sensitized fanang. Alta office also. Every employer has to do their medical checkup. Al healthcare, funding your sort of healthcare so people can be able to afford it. Let it be a number one priority. And so forth. No okeda, we will have a healthy populace. So Mbadingol Wolomon Fendi Lieutenant Translator and Monica Kawal. If Alas have something we can say that and wrap it up. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try, Mr. Sawaneh. I'll try and speak Wolof. Anyway, Mr. Sawaneh don't work more. Luñ doon discuss mooy affaire yi wérgu yaram yi nañ ne healthcare daal affaire yi wérgu yaram daal. So li ñoo wax mooy government bi dafa defut lu bari ci yëfi wérgu yaram waaye ñun saa yu leen déggee ñu ngi ne samp nañ fii nii hospital samp nañ fële hospital waaye foog naa fig ni ñi gën a bari mooy boori Serekunda Banjul be niñ ne biir Kaama area foofu moom da ngay gis ne diggante boobu daal benn hospital bu am fayda nekk après hospital bi ñu am Banjul mooy lopitaan bi nekk Banjul moom garab nekk fa ci ñun niñ ko dee déggee après docteur yi baax nekkuñ fa daa ngi dégg ñi fa liggéey léegi tam customer service bi nekku fa liñ dee dem ak patients yooyu so I don't know how true that is but when that's the case nit ki du feebar bi pare ngay ko tegaat another problem psychologically that's not done if that is the case I think loolu dañ ko war a wéy anyway ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne ñun dafa nekk dëgg boo xam ne dañ dee wax ne amuñ xaalis waaye ñu ngi am xaalis am advantage ñu ngi am support ci biti su fekkee ne yëf wér gu yaram suñ soxla la mënoon nañoo def ni jox sax World Bank loxo dañ dee support such projects nga sampa ñu make sure ne yow yaa ngi ko def pour help they can help so xaw ma nag how far di la gis suñ government bi toll daal anyway because ñoom dañ dee wax ne samp nañ fii hospital samp nañ fële hospital but ñu niñ ko déggee nit ñaa ngi dee ci yëf yi wasin ci hospital bi ba pare garab yi bari nekkuñ fa ba pare garab yi ñoo wax ni ñi jël ñu bari duñ ko dee mën a jënd sax te dañ leen di rifa ci apothèque si ñu dem fa duñ ko mën a jënd so that means te loolu tam du seen fault because government bi ñun dañ dee am help a lot from outside especially medicines and so amoon na time moo mën a remember there are a lot of containers yoo xam ne medical instruments ak yëpp a ci nekkoon te loolu gars yi diaspora ka di fi waaye tey soo demee ci hospital loo ko fay fekka so that means where are they soo demee fekka leen ci yeneen place so loolu that means there was no control or ñu am ay garab yoo xam ne ñu ko may suñ ñëwee nit ñi dem hospital duñ ko fa fekka so loolu dafa mel ni dafa am foo xam ne daal is going wrong mooy li Mr. Sawaneh de wax yëpp tam ci leader la mooy njiit dafa war a xam tam responsibility Gambia nag neexut pour nga nekkee njiit ndikte yow soo nekkee njiit war a wax nit ñi ne hey lii doo ko def lii waruloo ko def lii bu mu fi am comme ni ko Sam de waxee dafa wax ne su fekkee dafa seen liggéey ma daxala loolu yombal nag si suñ society Gambia loolu tax njiit yu bari tam xam naa moo tax ñi dee weak to take action so loolu li ko cause mooy suñ society ndikte yow su fekkee ne yaa ngi act yow ni nga war a acte take sa responsibility dangaa dégg kii dafa bon kii dafa strict kii nii kii nele because nit ñi buggee wuñ ko noonu but fekk kooku ngee def liggéeyam ndikte yow soo nekkee njiit and you are not strict yow doo jàppa sa kaadu doo wax nit ñi fu ñoo aw loolu du njiit bi nga nekk di jël receive salary kay waaye defaloo sa liggéey bu baax so loolu is a warning pour nit ñi nekk ci hospital bi being a leader njiit nag pour nekk ko yomb you all know especially in our society there are a lot of problems anyway li ñoo wax mooy daal pour government bi jéem a concentrate ci wérgu yarami nit ñi Sam sax mu ngi doon suggest pour gars yi sampa lopitaan bu mag def ci yëpp docteur yi mu soxla yëpp garab yi mu soxla yëpp to make sure ne nit ñi duñu ragalati pour dem ci lopitaan di te fi mu toll nii Sam a ngi ko wax sax moom ni mu ko déggee ñun suñ Royal Victoria Hospital bi ñoom America foofu seen lopitaan yi xaj yi sax can you imagine moo gën the condition of suñ lopitaan ni Banjul bi so loolu la nit ñi mënut a understand man mii sax mënuma ko understand su ma déggee ñuy wax ne def nañ hospital yu bari foofu ak yu demee noonu xëy na ñu ko def ci dex gi waaye daal not Banjul area on so foo xam ne fii fala lañ ne sax tricote Gambia bi yëpp dëkka so xëy na loolu si seen planning la loolu man mënuma ci wax lu bari but su fekkee ne planning la man noonu laa ko doon defee fi nit ñi gën a bari ma ngeen faa concentrate and solve that problem so but the government we having I think comme ni ma ko dee waxee rek there is no university for president so I think loolu problème boobu la barotam am waaye président yi moos dañoo jël ñi xam seen liggéey ñi jàng ñi muus def leen xarit ses leen seen bor kenn doo xam sax ndax jàng nañ baa jàng so baro nag moom ni mu ko defee mooy ñi fa fekkoon la jëlaat xëy na condition see demee noonu moo tax mu def noonu moom tam jàppande ko ci so ñu ne takkandeer again nga ñàkk a yëg so dañ na position boobu la so da ngay gis ne ñun suñ dundin yëpp mooy trial and errors li te place yu bari amuloo qualified people yuñ fa teg nit lan li te ñooñu votuñ la li te ñooñu nekkuñ di doga sa gannaaw li te ñooñu xamaloo leen su ko defee nga jël yeneen people ñoo xam ne they are not qualified duñ dimbali dëkk bi dara all sa mbokk lañ or anything nga def leen foofu and expecting at the end di xaar liggéey bu correct du dem so loolu is just waste of time ba pare fair tam pour Gambians so anyway I don't want to go deep in politics bëgguma dugg ci politique bu bari ñu ngi wax about health so let's talk about the health man daal suma advice mooy fi mu nekk rek na nit ñi xam ne feebar bi ñoo ooyee covid mu ngi ci àdduna bi benn tey bu leen kenn nax du leen wax naan leen african du am feebar bi o ñun dañ am immune system ñun we seeing it nit ñaa ngi dee fu nekk not only Africa tubaab bi nga xam ne ñu ngi am yëpp sax ñu ngi gaañu so lii du feebari kaf nga xam ne nit ñi fi mu nekk dañoo def lu leen ne foog na ne dafa dem waaw xam naa loolu nag moom yéene lañ buñ am ñun ñëpp pour mu gaaw dem waaye demagul so li ma leen a woon li ñu leen dee woon fii nii always mooy ngeen moytu it's not our job though dañoo def nii liggéey minister of health la ak ñi ci topp pour wan leen ne lii mu ngi fi wan leen ne da ngeen war a moytu ba pare wan leen ne yenn feebar yi da ngeen war a dem check up comme ni ko Mr Sawaneh waxee am na feebar yoo xam ne dafa nekk sa yaram doo ko xam ba bala nga koo xam fekk léet na so pour di dem monthly check up xam naa ne lii yëpp daf dee jar xaalis te ñun amuñ xaalis nag waaye ñu ne soo amut wér gu yaram tam xaalis bi nga am tam jëriñu la dara so xanaa ñu forcé try di dem ci docteur yi si benn yoon sax si at bi nga jël xaalis bi nga mujjee dajale sax dem seet ndax nga mun a xam ne li lay ñëw nga mun a faj sa bopp balaa nga continue loolu tam c'est a good advice so yëfi covid bi nag ma I always ñun ñooy sona pour wax ñun startoon nañ depuis day one di sensitize people bi di leen wan ne nañ moytu dañooy raxas loxo dañooy sol masque am na ñu doon ree nga xamuñ lan la so mu ngi mel ni ñun fi mu nekk second phase bi sax ñu bari xamuñ lan la moo tax nag ñu ko dee wax every time it's not our duty loolu normally journalist TV stations the government minister of health ñi ñëpp a waroon a jóg di won ni ñu leen lii la lii du foyekaay lii dañ war a moytu lii dañ war a sol masque lii dañ war a comme ni njëkkee di raxas suñ loxo yi di keep distance waaye su ma gisee yenn pictures fi mu nekk from Gambia or videos man suma boppa dama dee feel shock ne here is a missing information am na loo xam ne waxuñ ko nit ñi nit te su ma gisee ni nit ñi di dundee at this time aduna bi yëpp jaaxle then kon nit ñi informuñ leen bu baax whether it's from the side of the TVs or journalists or government or anything but there is a problem and ki ci loolu la tax ñu ngi wax nit ñi all the time daal nañ moytu am ne feebar bi mu ngi fa mu nga Sénégal mu nga fu nekk ba pare Gambia moom centre la te ñun suñ borders yëpp a ngi open so ku nekk ngay dugg di génn so na Gambian si moytu su fekkee ne sax government bi jëluñ seen task and inform you people bu leen ko def caaxaan ñun defuñ ko caaxaan sax tubaab bi sax defuñ ko caaxaan te ñu ngi am yëpp te ñun ñu ngi complain of even correct medicament correct hospital sax amuñ ko so man loolu laa bëgg a inform daal suma mbokk yi ñi ma mën a understand nañ moytu daal take it seriously because am na nag péngu waaye péngu bi nag ñu bari nga wax ne balaa ci Afrique di jot so ñu ngi am African président yu bari ñu ngi am xaalis bi kenn rek laa gis président yi South Africa bi mu ngi jënda péngu lu demee ci 1.5 million péngu pour nitani mu ngi am yeneen président yoo xam ne nag jënd nañ lu ëpp loolu pour seen nit ñi So for Gambia, mom, we don't need to question it at this moment. Understand? So ñun suñuy complain ne ñun amuñ xaalis ñun amuñ njëgi péngu sax kon ñun mu dafa nekk digga boo xam ne ñun ñoo war a gën a moytu waaye su ma gisee how people are living I always think too much, you know. So ba pare ñu try to transparent with this feebar bi kenn waru cee rus dara ku ko am nag génna clearly wax ne lii la su ko defee yaay mun naa treat ba pare register la moo tax nit ñi mënuñoo dem ak nomba si gars yi dee wax naan statistique bi lim dee wax because àndut ñu baree ngeen nubu seen mbokk yi pour ñu xam ne ñu ko am ñu baree ngeen nubu pour nit ñi accuse leen ne dañ ko am mel ni feebar bi soo ko amee yow is something criminal non buñ ko nuba buñ ko maslaxaaye feebar la balaa la loolu depuis time prophète yi sax moom fa wax waa bi ñoom tam they are very transparent with it dangay nit sa boppam métti sax moom mooy oote ne kaay leen ngeen seet ma su ko defee dinañ am correct data bi waaye am na ñoo xam ne dañoo def ne xaaral ñu def ko faje nit ku ñuul di dog ci xobi mango yi ak yooyu te loolu du faj covid dafa jaale gis nañ Sénégal ñoom demoon nañ ba xala relax waaye ñoom seen boppa ñoo jóg xam ne lii mu ngi rey so ñun tam dëkk bu ndaw la nañ moytu nag bos covid bi lim yóbbu rek bari na kenn du ko wax nag moom laa wax nii waruñoo put a blind eye on this thing ku ko def is not fair and it's not fair to Gambian population so that's my warning for today yàlla musal ñu ñun ñëpp ñu moytu ñu ne yàlla ne ku dimbale sa boppam mu dimbale ku dimbale boppam mu dimbale la okay thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Final words, Sam. Alice, wonderful job in translating to Wolof.
Yeah, thanks, Alice, for really translating all that, and you, Sawaneh, for really speaking in Mandinka as well. So, just to wrap up, I'm just going to reiterate what we talked about in things that I've been saying when it comes to this. Healthcare is very, very serious. It's of paramount importance, and the government need to take it that way, and put focus on healthcare, and do everything they can to save lives, because one life loss is one too many. In my eyes, is one too many. If we can save lives, let's save lives. And I know they've all government officials, including the president, they've all traveled overseas and they've seen what hospitals look like. That's not Gambia's hospital. Gambia's hospital, like I said, doesn't look like that. And we lack a lot of things in there. They need to pay attention to that and do what we need to do, the right thing for our people. I mean, these are people, our people, let's do the right thing for them. Let's get them what they need. And let's do it the right way. So, so spending time and money on hospital will be a win-win situation for Gambia. It's going to save lives. It's going to save people's money from traveling overseas, so traveling to Senegal, and a lot of things. It'll be instant care for us in the country, people in the country there. So let's focus on that. And I just want to wrap it up. Like I said, I don't want to waste more time or take any more time, but just to say thank you to both of you as well. And thanks to our listeners or our viewers for joining today.
Yeah. So just to say some of the things that our viewers have been talking about, quickly. Some people have been giving us a very good insight of the responses. Somebody was saying, so in order to share your program to my network, please introduce yourself. I missed the beginning. So the person is still watching, I believe. Yama C. So Sam, you can introduce yourself and Alice for her. Yeah.
I'm Sam Ceesay. I'm in Indiana, USA.
Alice.
I am Alass Ngerr in Germany.
Okay, and I'm Momodou Sawaneh, New York. Okay, so yeah, man, that's that. What can the diaspora do in the near future? Thank you for your initiative and valuable program. So the diasporans, what can we do? I think we are doing what we need to do. One of it is like sensitizing the community and our people, by spending our valuable time every Sunday. So that's one, and perhaps support any initiative that involves health or involve other things. What do you guys? What are your thoughts? What can we do to help in the future?
I mean, we are helping enough, taking our time and spend some hours for our people without money, but we spend the hours, you know.
Okay.
Because one like me, I'm a very busy man. So if I sit here for 2 hours, I'm not bragging, but it should have been money. I'm a money man. But we sacrifice for our people. The time we sacrifice in here is just for our people to sensitize them and then uh, um, a kind of educating them through Civic. That's why we call it Civic Education Platform, not
Okay.
political.
Okay. Thank you. So he said this from Yama from Maryland. So thank you, Yama. Yama C. So thank you for that comment. So guys, I think we came to the end of the program. Wonderful information.
Yeah, Mr.
Please
Farah.
share it with your networks and let our people get sensitized and follow us on our Facebook page and YouTube page.
Yeah,
Thank you,
then take
guys. Yeah.
care. Take care for today. Sound. Bye
Thank
bye.
you all. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys. Okay.
Yep.
Bye, Sam. Take care.
Bye now.